Hello, hello. Welcome to Top Shelf Backpacking, which is 5 days remaining until I go on my 26.5 mile fundraiser hike supporting the MS Society. Figured I would show you what is going to be in my bag, what all I am taking, as well as what I will be wearing. So let's get into it. Before I get started with what I'll be wearing on this hike, I want to give a quick thank you to everybody who has already contributed and helped raise over $2,000. There is still time to contribute. I'll drop down into the first comment in the area below a link. You can copy that, paste it into your browser, and donate. Every little bit helps. Thank you to everyone who has supported already. Let's get into what I'll be wearing. Starting from the bottom, coming from REI, I will be rocking the Ultra. These are the Lone Peak 9 Plus. I've had these out on trail for quite some time already. I do feel like they're a little more comfortable than the Ultras I've had in the past. I don't know if the Vibram sole just gives it a little better cushioning. I don't feel as many of the rocks coming through the bottom, so I do appreciate that. Good grip, lightweight, quick drying. Been a fan of these so far, so these will be coming with me. Under those, we will have my Injinji toe socks, which I guess aren't here at the moment. And above that, I will have my, this is just a calf sleeve. It's a copper fit. You find them kind of all over. I don't know that anything special about the copper, but a sleeve on my left calf helps keep me comfortable. And then I will have my Ultra gaiters. Because of how I walk, I do tend to get a lot of debris in the top of my shoes. So these will help me from having to stop all the time to get that out, because time will be of the essence. Above all that, we've got our Give and Go Ex Officio undies, which will be underneath my just Under Armour running shorts, little 5-inch, I want to say they're the Launch. And then I'll have my Crater Lake sun hoodie. This will help keep me cool. There will be some exposed area. Temps are supposed to be in the higher 70s. And because of the exposed areas, I'll also have a hat. This is my Foster Outdoors hat. Matches the sun hoodie. You got to be stylish while you're out there. I will be using my Canuck Outdoors trekking poles. Had these for quite some time. They are carbon fiber and cork handle, so these help mitigate blisters on my hands. I feel like they wick the sweat quite nicely, so that is what all will be on my body there. I guess technically I'll have my cell phone in my pocket, so you can include that in the kind of worn stuff there. Now let's get into what's in the pack. So the pack itself is my Z-Packs Arc Blast. I was planning on taking my Light AF as it is frameless and lighter weight, but it just seemed to kind of rub me raw on my training stuff. So hopefully this one with its padded hip belt and everything will be a fair bit more comfortable. All in with the camera and everything, we're just shy of 17 pounds, so a little heavier than I was hoping for, but we will be carrying nearly 3 liters of water. So I'm okay with that. Starting on the outside here, I've got my Thermarest Z-Seat. We'll need that if we do stop for any breaks. Helps keep things comfortable. I also really like it for water access, that kind of thing. And if I need to change it all, I can throw it down. Gives me something to kind of stand on. That way when my shoes are off and everything, I can keep my feet clean. As a title sponsor of this hike, I've got my Cooler Cloth. This is part of my hygiene kit, so I do carry one now with another one of the title sponsors, and they have both donated monetarily and product, both Cooler Cloth and the Holy Hiker Bidet here. So that'll be in my little poop kit, which I repurposed my first aid kit. I do have a few pieces of toilet paper in there, because those have been used for first aid. And sometimes you just do need a little bit of toilet paper, along with my deuce of spades, just because I don't want to take the extra time to find rocks or sticks that are good enough to dig a cat hole. This is kind of a probably won't need, so everything's as light as possible, but if needed, I want to be timely, and this stuff will help with that. Because it's July in Oregon, I do have my head net, as well as a little Ziploc with my compass and paper map. Just keep things dry. I've got my ditty bag, and here are extra electronics, charging cables, meds, gear repair, kind of all the miscellaneous stuff you may need while you're out there on trail. It lives in this guy. Then I've got my Canuck Vecto with my Sawyer Squeeze. Again, time is of the essence, so this is a heavier filter, but we're definitely gonna have to filter water, hopefully at the halfway point at the lake, at Wadham Lake. So we'll both have our filters. We can top off our 3 liters, eat quickly, and then right back out we go kind of deal. Each side pocket will have a liter of water in it, and then on the front pouch here I will have my little kind of 700 ml. I do have my Garmin InReach. On the front pocket will be the camera you're watching this on currently, and then in the little mesh pocket in front there I keep my little pack towel, and that will be kind of tied to things just so I can keep the sweat off my face so we can keep moving quickly. Inside the right hip belt pocket will be caffeine and drink stuff. So I'll have some Stinger energy chews, some Element, some Electrolyze little salt sticks, along with extra batteries, my AirPods, charging cables, GoPro batteries. So the important stuff, because that's the easier one for me to close. In the left hip belt pocket are things like snacks, as well as some Vaseline in case there's chafing. Want to be able to get to it easily. I've got a handful of bars. Tried to avoid chocolate because it melts. So we've got a couple protein bars. We've also got some cashews in here, things that are calorically dense. I'll be setting timers to remind myself to eat. I do find that I don't get necessarily hungry on trail, but eating and maintaining electrolyte levels definitely helps. So we'll be setting timers just to remind ourselves to eat so we can stay fueled, because we'll have 5,000 feet of elevation to climb. Now let's get into the bag and see what's inside. Right off the top, and honestly this will probably live in the mesh pouch, is my rec pack. This is the vanilla chai version. This will be lunch. Tiny bit of caffeine in there, 700 calories. The coffee one was seemingly easily digestible, so just a nice big hit of fuel at the top, so hopefully we can make haste on our way down. If things go wrong, part of the reason I have this big bag is there are numerous spots we can camp, so we're both going to have the kind of most minimal overnight setup we can. Because of that, I will be taking a food kit. So in here I have some extra snacks. I've got a breakfast, a dinner, some alcohol for my alcohol stove, and just things that I will need in case we actually end up having to stay and cook anything. As far as shelter go, I was going to take just a ground sheet and my tarp that we would both fit under, but after doing an overnight up in the Indian Heaven Wilderness and knowing my buddy does not react well to numerous mosquito bites, we will be taking my Z-Pax Duplex, which is a fully enclosed tent. I do have my rain gear with me. Again, we're not expecting rain, but if we do have to spend the night, this is an extra layer of warmth. So I've got my rain pants, or actually wind pants and lighting equipment, and then my Frog Togs rain jacket, just really for warmth if we do end up having to stop. Since I am bougie, I do have my Uber light. I am going to sleep on an air pad, heavier than a foam would be, but a lot smaller and more comfortable, because if things are going wrong, I do want to try to get at least good sleep so we can get out of there on Sunday. On top of that will go my Enlightened Equipment quilt. Not planning on bringing a pillow on this one. I will use my clothes rolled up if need be, but hopefully we won't actually be spending the night. And all of that will go into a Nylofume pack liner, just in case there's any water issues. We'll stay dry and safe out there on trail. So that is all of the gear that I'll be taking for the 26.5 mile, hopefully day hike fundraiser for the MS Society. Again, thank you to everybody who has donated. And if you would like to donate, there will be links below. You can also find links on my website, which is topshelfbackpacking.com. For more information on all the gear you see on this channel, visit topshelfbackpacking.com. And until I see you again, cheers.